this week on... Yes, guys, welcome back to another vid from Mutal FC, and today we got another banging vid for you today. Today we're talking about Agüero! Nah, I'm just fucking with you. We're actually talking about the Prem team of the decade. Alright, before we get into this video, guys, you guys gotta hit that subscribe button. We want to hit 100 subscribers. If we hit 100 subscribers, I'm telling you right now, we got a banging vid dropping. So please, help brother out and hit that subscribe button.
Alright, so to start off our Premier League team of the decade, in goalkeeper we have David De Gea. And I think this was kind of a unanimous pick from the three of us, because he's just dominated this decade in terms of achievements, stats, just the time he's played, it just fit perfectly. You know, he joined United 2011. He's still playing there at the end of the decade now. And so, like, just to start off, like, with his achievements, he's won the Premier League once with United 2013. He's won the FA Cup, the League Cup. So that's all the domestic cups he could have possibly won. He's also been a Super Cup winner 3 times. And then individually, he's won a Golden Glove, so he's had that individual award also. And then for the decade, he has the second most saves out of all keepers. So I think that stands for a lot, especially as a goalkeeper. Your job is to keep the ball out of the net. 825 saves, I think, stands for a lot. And then also, I think a lot of people also they might want to argue Peter Cech or Joe Hart. But the thing is, I see with Peter Cech especially, like, he's kind of stuck in between decades. So he left to Arsenal 2015, and he didn't really have that great of a career there. He did have a great career at Chelsea, but I just don't think the 5 years equals what De Gea did in those 10 years. Same thing with Joe Hart. You know, 4 Golden Gloves in 6 years is, like, amazing. But at the end of the decade right now, he's not even on a team, and he ended it with Burnley as like a third string. So I think De Gea consistently, he was there all 10 years, starting for United, helping them win trophies, and then 313 appearances also, which shows that he was always there. He wasn't just sitting on the bench, you know, winning those trophies. So yeah, we have David De Gea as our goalkeeper.
All right. Next is right back. And God, I hate this dude with a passion, being a United fan. Like, fuck him and how good he is, but it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, all right? I hate to say it. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a good right back, better right back. You know, I have to say for the decade, Trent, he's been amazing. I know people are going to say, but, yo, he's only played, like, for fucking, like, 3 years. Like, no one knew this dude before 2017. But, like, in those 3 years, he's revolutionized the position. I mean, who the hell knew you had to assist with a right back? A fucking 12 assists last season. 13 assists this season, a fucking 4 goals. That's better than like fucking Ozil. Where's Ozil? But Ozil can't do that. He's a fucking number 10 playmaker. So I know people are gonna say Zabaleta, you know, and like Zabaleta was a good right back, but he's again one of those players who gets stuck in that weird area, you know, end of last decade, beginning of this decade, and you know then after that he went to West Ham. Did he really do anything for West Ham? He's just like a rotation player. So I mean, I hate to say, I really fucking hate to say it, but it's got to be Trent for right back.
Yeah, but just to follow up big with our first center back, making his debut, Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany has been a Premier League winner 4 times in 11-12. They're helping City win their first title in 40 years. 13-14, 17-18, the Centurion season, and 18-19. Also getting a Player of the Season award in 11-12. And also in 11-12, City kept the most clean sheets in the league, 17, and Vinny was a part of 15. So I think Vinny has to stand for something. And just the goals that he scored too, like the banger against Leicester in 17-18, to help them seal the most away wins record, which stands at 16 games. So I think Vinny is definitely a mainstay in the team of the decade.
Yeah, and just to add to our second center back, we have Virgil van Dijk. And I know a lot of people are probably going to argue with this, saying he's only there for the end of the decade. But the thing is, he was with Southampton 2015-16, so he was there for 5 years of the decade in the Prem. And achievements-wise, you know, he's won Player of the Year with Liverpool once. He's won the Premier League. And, you know, he's won international competitions also. So, and Liverpool was a great team before he came in. But they were scoring 3 to 4 goals, but those games they were letting in 4 to 5. So Van Dijk came in, he changed that team. Basically, it doesn't matter which center back you put next to him; it's still going to be an elite defense. So yeah, I think he also has to be given a shot on that team of the decade, just for the impact he's had on Liverpool this last 5 years.
All right, the next one is the left back. Now, this one was a hard one to decide, right? Because you can't really say there's a lot of good left backs, right? But we all had to pick Azpilicueta. Because, yes, you could say Robertson, but again, very end of the decade, last 2-3 years, it doesn't count for much. Azpilicueta has done it for like the last 7 years. If you look at the appearances, he's played about at least 36 games in the last 5 seasons, which is insane. The consistency of him playing every year in, year out, game after game, like that's got to be commendable. He's won 2 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup winner, 1 English League Cup winner. I mean, he's just Mr. Consistent. I think most people can agree. He's probably one of the most consistent defenders. Even Chelsea right now, I mean, they have a shit all around their defense. Rudiger, Zuma, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Azpilicueta is the only one who's like competent. And the dude's like fucking 32 or something. So, I mean, for us, we thought Azpilicueta had to be the left back. And he's very versatile. He's played left back, right back, center back in 2016, 2017 when they had a 5-back formation under Conte. So very adaptable defender as well. So, yeah, that's why we picked him at left back.
Yeah, but following up Vignesh's pick of Aspi, we all agreed on Conte in the midfield because he was a Premier League champion, obviously with Leicester, 5,000 to 1 odds. Shit was insane. Then he followed it up with Chelsea 16-17. He was the first player to win the Premier League back-to-back with different teams, becoming a starter. And he also got the PFA Player of the Season that year, 16-17. I just think for Conte, he was really the second coming of players like Vieira, Claude Makélélé, the midfield powerhouses, the household names. So I think Conte has to be a mainstay in this team as well.
Yeah, and at center mid we have David Silva. I think David Silva was like the easiest pick of this team for all of us because he was like literally his Premier League. He played in the Prem from 2010 to 2020, so that he fit perfectly right into this team. He was the most consistent player, in my opinion, also of this decade of any player in the Prem. And although like I've watched City, like as a United fan, I think most people hate Liverpool. I hate City the most because that's just the time period I've seen City succeed this time period more than any other team. But David Silva, I think, is a player that you just can't hate. He's just like, he's so like elegant and just like the way he dribbles, the way he passes, the way he controls that team. And like titles wise, he's won 4 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 5 League Cups. So like he's won everything he possibly could in England. And then he was also one of the first players who came to City in 2010, like after they got bought by their new owner, and he totally changed that turned around that franchise, the way they played games, won titles along with Agüero, Yaya Toure. They also changed that how Man City played. And then I think also he's had 309 appearances, so he's always been playing for them. Each year, the last 10 years, he started more than 20 games every year for Man City. So I think he's just had such a big impact on this team. You cannot leave him off the team of the decade.
Yeah, and I completely second that. And just talking about City's DNA as well, Yaya Toure's got to make an appearance in this team because, 3-time Premier League winner, only the second player after Frank to get 20 goals as a midfielder. And in that season, 11-12, 10 of those were set-piece attempts, 4 free kicks, 6 pens from 13 attempts is not easy to do. Just the moments you remember him from, scoring in a FA Cup final against Stoke City to give City their first major silverware in 35 years, scoring a brace against Newcastle to help them win their first Prem title, to help them go above United rather in the table, and, still staying there 13-14, mopping up after Liverpool's Gerrard slip. So I think Yaya Toure has to be there as the box-to-box midfielder in this team.
Nah, I can't agree with this shit. This shit's a scam. It's got to be KDB. Okay, I'm a United fan, so I hate to say this, but KDB is probably the best player I've seen in this decade. I know you're gonna say, "With what Rooney or RVP, Suarez?" Like overall as a player, I think he's the best player on this team. I think he's the best in terms of ability, potential. I mean, he doesn't have a PFA Player of the Year yet. I think he's gonna win it this season. If Jordan Henderson wins it, it's a fucking scam as well. But anyways, it's got to be KDB. I mean, he's insane. Again, people are gonna say, but he's only been here like really 4 years, right? And he's only been really doing well in the last 3. But it's like what he's done. I mean, he's tied Thierry Henry's record, assist record that he set in like 2002, 2003, I believe, or 2003, 2004, the 20 assists. And along with those 20 assists, he has 13 goals this season. Right? I think he's just such a big impact to that City team. Like, you can see the drop off. Right? And I know people say, well, they won the league last year without De Bruyne. But that's because, yes, City just have depth. I think in any other team like De Bruyne, he'd be such a big player. And I think you can't count him out. Even though he's only done 3 years, he's done so well. He's had such a big impact in those 3 years. I think he has to be in this team.
Yeah, no, I completely agree as well because I have respect for players like KDB and Salah, who we'll mention later, that it didn't quite work out for them in the Prem, but they came back and they lost the league. So I think KDB definitely deserves to be in this team, but for me, again, it's just a short-term period, arriving from Wolfsburg for around 50, 55 million around 2015, 2016. I just think he hasn't been in the league long enough, but I'm sure he'll definitely end up there.
I feel that. So you guys let us know in the comments. De Bruyne, Torre, anyone else? Are we missing something? You let us know down in the comments. But now the forward line, boys. This is where we're going to get a lot of shit. We're going to get a lot of fucking shit from some people. Alright? I'm going to go name my front 3, and we'll go in order. My front 3, Jamie Vardy, Sergio Agüero, and Hazard. That's my front.
Yeah, my front 3 is Vardy as well, Agüero as well, but I'm going to go Salah over Hazard.
Yeah, so my front 3, I think Agüero, we all decided on. That's like an easy pick. If you don't have Agüero in your team of the decade, I don't know what you're thinking. But other than Agüero, I had Van Persie and Hazard.
All right, this is where and he's right. Chris is right. Agüero, I think if you people are not cultured, I don't know what, come on, it's Agüero. I mean, literally, did you not? This dude's the most consistent striker in my opinion, other than maybe Lewandowski in the world. Consistent. The only problem with Agüero is I felt like he's gotten injured in the last couple seasons. He always gets injured around the January, February time. That prevents him to bang those 29 goals that he normally bang. Right? I mean, he has 16 goals and he's been injured for 5 months this season. And that's ridiculous. But in terms of the other players, now I know people are gonna be Vardy, you're disrespecting Robin van Persie, and you're taking Vardy instead. I mean, come on. Vardy won a Premier League title with Leicester goddamn City, right? 5,000 to 1 odds to win it. That has to count for something. He broke Ruud van Nistelrooy's record. 11 games in a row, scored again and again and again. And not only did he do that, he tied his own record this year, right? It's just insane that he's done. Vardy, and he consistently hits 20 goals. Okay, I think there's one season, 2017-18, he dipped off a little bit. But other than that, he's hit 20. That's got to count for something. I mean, he's one of the most consistent strikers in this decade. And he has a Premier League title to his name. Robin van Persie, in my opinion, right, he's a very good striker, but just he's done it earlier, only 2010 to 2013, 14, right? And then he kind of just fucked off. Vardy's done it for a longer period of time. So that's my thing about that Vardy RVP type of thing.
I definitely second Vardy in this team because I just think any member of that Leicester team, especially out of the 3, Conte, Mahrez, and Vardy, I think has to be in here. And we already have Conte, but I just think Vardy, the moments, you think about the Liverpool volley, you think about breaking his duck, scoring against Stoke, ending that drought, and even just tying his 11-game streak again this season. I think that has to stand for something.
Yeah, I totally get the Vardy argument, but I don't see how you can leave Van Persie out of this team. I totally understand Vardy did it with Leicester, who are not, top 6 caliber club, but that team had Riyad Mahrez, N'Golo Kante. I think N'Golo Kante was mainly the reason they won that, and even that season, Mahrez was the one who won the Player of the Season. So I think if you rank those 3 in order, I think Vardy's 3rd out of most importance to that team. And I look at Van Persie and that Arsenal team that he finished top 4 with, and the year he scored 30 goals, won Player of the Year. I think that Arsenal team was more shit than that Leicester team that won a lot more. That Leicester team would demolish that Arsenal team. That Arsenal team. The second most goals on that team was Theo Walcott with 8 goals. Theo Walcott, I don't know where the fuck he is right now, but he's so I don't know what to say. But and he got his deserved move to United the next year. Won Golden Boot again, 26 goals. Won the title. Player of the Year, and they won that title like comfortably. Like he came to United. The year before United, they couldn't beat out City, and then once you put Van Persie on that team, it totally changes the complexion of that team. And yeah, and also top scorer. Like if you look at top scores of this decade, Van Persie is coming in at 5th while only playing 3 years in the Prem, which I think is insane. While Vardy has played like 5 to 6 years of this decade, and he's still not above Van Persie. Like I just don't see how you can leave Van Persie out of this team.
I definitely get the shot with Van Persie, and you're right with Vardy only getting 4 goals in 14-15. And I respect the fact that he was able to get the Golden Boot back to back with 2 different teams. So, you let us know in the comment section below, AFT fans, shout us out. Let us know Van Persie in the comments. But moving on to the Salah Hazard debate. So Vignesh wants to start on Hazard.
Bro, Hazard is like orgasmic when he plays. Like fucking hell. What I know you guys are what the fuck is like gay shit. Like hey, it's okay to be gay. Also, 2020, and no problem with that. But anyways, back to myself. Hazard is fucking world class, man. Like I'm not even a Chelsea fan, but when I know I said De Bruyne's the best player. I still think De Bruyne's the best player this decade. But Hazard, in terms of an offensive player, I think he's the best. What he did with the ball, right? I think he's the second best dribbler after Messi. He's dribbling, the ball retention so good, 1v1 dribbling ridiculous. When he was in the Prem, I think he's the most fouled player, and he didn't dive. He's not like Bruno Fernandes, right? I know Bruno Fernandes dies, but like Hazard like wins his fouls, wins his penalties. Like he was just such a good player to watch, and he always put the numbers up too. Right? He carried Chelsea along with Diego Costa in that 16-17 season under that 5-back system that probably didn't suit him, but it's still like sauce. And then earlier under Mourinho, 14-15, like the fact that Hazard could play under 2 defensive managers and put the numbers that he did is just insane. Right? He's probably one of the best players I've ever seen. So I can't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Salah's ridiculously good. I know. Again, Salah's like the thing. Last 2 years. I mean, yeah, he's put a Golden Boot back to back and all that shit. But like, Hazard's been in the Prem longer, 6-7 years. Like he's been almost playing like 30 plus games every season. And what he does with the ball, it's. I know I said it was orgasmic and all, but like, geez, like you people have to watch that shit. It's so fucking hot when you get the ball. So I mean, for me, it's got to be Hazard.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely probably the best ball carrier I've seen. Adama's coming close this season, but still nowhere near. Hazard's in his own league. But I just think for Salah, you have to understand what he did in terms of the goal scoring. 32 goals in a 38-game season. That's a record. If you want to look, second people that are tied on that list, you got Suarez, Ronaldo, Shearer. All those are out and out number 9s, and he even beat Kane that season. So I still think that like. You have to respect Salah for that, and revolutionizing the wing play after Ronaldo. I feel like he's the first one that really made sure that wingers had to be killers in the box to be really potent and clinical. So I think Salah has to be a starter in this team for that reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna second Vignesh on putting Hazard on this team because I think the impact he's had has just been like I think the level of impact he's had has been like almost what David Silva has had on Man City. Maybe more in the time period he did it. 2 Premier League titles, an FA Cup, a League Cup, and he's just like Vignesh said, like he's just an amazing dribbler. Like he will. I still remember that the game against Arsenal where he went 50 yards dribbling past 3 or 4 Arsenal players to finish off like a really good goal. And then I think even going back to 14-15 where he won Player of the Year. Chelsea basically won the league by like Christmas that year. And like Vignesh said, with Jose Mourinho defensive play style, he still was able to show how good he was by scoring goals, getting assists, and just playing a vital role for that team. And I know if Mooney was here, he'd be supporting him like crazy too. Shout out Mooney. But yeah.
Fuck Mooney, man. That dude runs the channel. Fuck him, Fuck him. Go let him do whatever the fuck he wants. No, I'm kidding. We love the dude. But Hazard, I mean, like, Salah is a very good shot. That's why I'll be honest, it's a very tight call between them. But for me, the thing with Hazard is not only is such a good player, right? And he did it with like 2 defensive managers. Which the more I think about it now, he hasn't played out under imagine he played under a Pep or a Klopp. He could only get better. He could only be better. I mean, I know he's playing under Zidane now, but like he's fat, so we can't really count that and shit. But Hazard, I'm just telling you, like, in the Prem, like that's what he's done. I think he's revolutionized again. Like I know he doesn't score as many goals as Salah does. Salah has definitely revolutionized that position, But like, I don't think I put Hazard in the quality of the Neymar, Mbappe, right? I put him in that quality of caliber player, right? And De Bruyne, right? The right below Messi, Ronaldo. That's how much I can't put Salah there yet. Maybe eventually. I can't put Salah there yet. That's just my take on it. But
Yeah, and I think there were times during like Hazard at Chelsea where he was being talked about as maybe being the third best player in the world,
yeah,
like behind Messi and Ronaldo. Unfortunately, yeah, he's had a terrible year this year, but I think he'll be lose some weight. He'll be back next year, scoring as many goals and getting as many assists that he did for Chelsea.
yeah,
I think just for me, I left out Salah's PFA Player of the Year award 17-18. Mind you, KDB also voted for him that year, so I think that's tied one apiece. But my one problem with Hazard is 15-16, man. I mean, I know he was coming off a really hot year in 14-15. Chelsea had won and everything, but I still think 4 goals, and then even this year with Real, dipping at the end of the decade, his first goal coming, something like 2 months after, and mind you, it was a good goal. But I think like the key difference for me is if Salah wants, he can score. 32 goals, then 22 goals, and 19 goals in 3 seasons back to back, and even just the individual moments like the 4 goals against Bournemouth. But my one problem with Salah and why I have to respect Hazard is for the amount of times he gets kicked and stays on his feet is insane. And just what he did for Chelsea 17-18 too. I think scoring 20 to, I mean, being involved in 20 to 25% of their goals, whether it's scoring or assisting. So I think Hazard has a shout, and I definitely second it. But like Salah's got to be in there just for the goal scoring of what he did.
mm-hmm.
The only thing I would say about like Salah is just that like he was on Chelsea, if you guys remember, at like near the beginning of this decade, and he was playing like a substitute role. He didn't really do much. So I just feel like since he's only done it on Liverpool, I I like don't see it as much as how like Hazard did it for 6-7 years, and I know it was only on Chelsea, but he led that team to many titles. I think Salah, his Chelsea play was just
You think
yeah.
that having it not work out in the Prem and then coming back, because it's like no disrespect to like Hazard, it wasn't his fault, but he was able to play in Ligue 1 and still got I think team of the season that year, player of the season, something before he came. I feel like you have to look at the fact that like Salah played in the Egyptian league, Al Makloun or something, and then he went to FC Basel, and then it was Prem. It wasn't like a nice route. I feel like that has to stand for something, and Hazard is definitely there though. I see that from what you guys have said also.
Yeah, no, Hazard, Salah, both world-class players. I mean, you guys let us know. What do you guys think of this 11? I know everyone's not going to agree with this shit. I know everyone has their own opinions. But, like, you let us know. Hazard, Salah, and then Vardy, Van Persie, end this video. We know people are going to be like, oh, you missed Wayne Rooney, you missed Mars. We got some honorable mentions, so chill the fuck out, all right? We got Riyad Mahrez, right? We got Riyad Mahrez. We got Wayne Rooney, okay? We got some big ballers. We got John Terry. All right, Locks will let you know about the whole list that we've got of honorable mentions.
Yeah, so Mahrez, obviously, a member of that Leicester team. 17 goals, I think 11 assists that season. Then played well 17-18, earned himself a move to City, then won it with them as well. Mane's in there, 3 goals in 3 minutes for Southampton. What the fuck was that? Still remains to be seen. Sterling's in there as well, close with Liverpool 13-14. Really helping in the Centurion season with Sane alongside him. Wayne Rooney, as Vignesh mentioned, is a weird one. Definitely class, able to move around the park as well as the age. So Wayne Rooney, shout out Wayne. And then Costa, man. Diego Costa's the big one. Don't think we forgot, 14, 15, 20 goals and 26 abs. Just even coming into his debut, I think 4 goals against Burnley. I mean, he was a fucking lion before he came. But yeah, that's our honorable mentions. Let us know in the comments what you think we left out or missed, and we'll see you next vid.
Yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Hey, wait, just remember, get us 100 subs. We need that shit. Get us 100 subs, we got another banging vid, so you better do that shit. We'll catch you in the next one.